Want to bet? You can do it at Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook. Football continues, the World Series is underway, and we have finally dropped the puck on a new hockey season. Bet pregame, live in play, or on one of our many prop bets. Made for Canadians by Canadians, Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Ontario only, 19 and over. Please play responsibly. Speaking of superheroes, Ryan Reynolds, who some of you guys might know as Deadpool, has an interest in buying the Ottawa Senators. And if he follows through on that, it would instantly make him the coolest owner in the National Hockey League. What do you know about that story that seems to be developing?
Well, not a whole lot, to be honest. I mean, look, it was reported by People magazine that he does have interest, citing sources. There was an exchange with a fan on Twitter where he's giving the thinking emoji when asked about becoming the Senators owner. There does seem to be at least some merit to it. But, what I know in general about where things are at with the Senators is they're still at the stage, very early stage, I would say, of gauging interest in the team. There's not even truly a for sale sign up, on the franchise, but they've retained a pretty powerful sports bank with deep ties in the industry to mergers and acquisitions of teams to represent them. It's a pretty clear sign that the Senators do intend to at least pursue a sale to see if what the valuation might be, what kind of groups might step forward. I would expect there'll be more than one. It sounds like there's at least two local groups in Ottawa being put together. It's not clear to me, but I don't think that what we're talking about with Ryan Reynolds is one of those groups. And so I guess we'll just have to see how it plays out. But I can only imagine. I've covered numerous NHL Board of Governors meetings. That's when the owners get together every December. And I can't even imagine Ryan Reynolds walking through the door when you compare him to many of his peers. When you say he'd be the coolest NHL owner, I don't say this with any shade. I realize I'm very uncool myself, but I can't even, who would be second in that competition? I don't even know if there is a second.
Yeah, I was trying to think about it before we got started today, and nope. There's no disrespect to all the other people who own NHL teams, but I don't think of any of them as people who are super, I don't know. I mean, okay, congrats, you have a lot of money. That's as best as I could put it. And maybe I'm being I don't think I'm being disrespectful when I say that. It's just, all right, you got a lot of money, you own a team. Congrats.
Well,
I don't know.
And look, there's some good news in this story too. Part of the People magazine story is that Ryan Reynolds wants to keep the team in Ottawa. Obviously he's a Vancouver native originally, but I think that'll be what we're tracking in this story is the team going to remain in the nation's capital in Canada? I would suspect, given the NHL's track record, and I'm not talking about the track record in the 90s. I mean, since then, they've been very reluctant to see any teams moved. There's been some advancements, I would say, on getting a new arena built at LeBreton Flats in downtown Ottawa, which I think would be a huge breakthrough in terms of determining the long-term future of the team in that city. And so that's a positive. And look, Ryan Reynolds owns a soccer team over in Wales, Wrexham AFC. So, he's dipped his hand here before. I think he'd be a great public face for a team as an owner. And, I like the story. It's kind of nice. We're at a spot, what's not even a full year past Eugene Melnick's death, but that there does seem to be hope for the Senators, right? I mean, so many of the last few years, it seemed like every news story about the Senators was going the wrong way. Their attendance was going the wrong way. Their team wasn't getting much traction on the ice. They've started to turn around the operation from a hockey standpoint. You're seeing the business pick up for the Senators, and I think there is real hope now that there's going to be a way forward. Eugene Melnick bought the Senators at a very distressed time back in 2003, nearly 20 years ago, when there was already concern then that they might have to be moved. And I think they're in a place today, which he'd be happy about because it was a real treasure for him, that organization, where I think we don't have to stretch our minds much to dream of a long-term future in Ottawa for the Sens.
Mentioned Wrexham. I believe there's a documentary series, Welcome to Wrexham. Maybe that should be your sports movie, maybe / documentary recommendation.
I would love that. I actually watched, what was the one on Netflix about the sort of second or third tier team? I'm just drawing a blank on the name.
Sunderland. There's
Yeah, Sunderland. I saw that one. So that's kind of up my alley. If I'm gonna veer off of watching a live sport, I like to watch some access into a live sport, before getting to some of the more dramatic things.